We are Talkin Baseball, NorthJerseySports.com's original multimedia series talking all things baseball across North Jersey. This is Season 5, Episode 6, back from a 1-week hiatus. I am Corey Doviak, being joined. Now listen, we had 2 weeks between shows here. We had some time to come up with some new nicknames. So, not Joey Administrator, not Joey Face Mask, not Joey First Base Coach, not Joey Chaperone. In show prep again, a new nickname was born. Welcome in, everybody. Joey Expletive Sutera. What's going on, Joe?
I deserve this one. I can't. There's no defense that I have. I deserve it. I won't repeat the reasons. Well, the actual texts that were sent. But I deserve it, and I apologize to you on air, Corey.
I think everybody who listens to the show and knows you personally certainly has no problem imagining what might have prompted the switch.
I'd rather not. Let's just leave it be.
Yes. All right. So last week we were supposed to do a show. A couple things happened. One, it just rained every day, so very little baseball was played after Monday. Terrible. I was at the Bergen County, the oft-delayed Bergen County quarterfinal game that had to be played on Monday in 2 different places under the lights and everything else. And then I covered no more baseball until yesterday, Monday, when the state tournament started. But we were going to do a show regardless of that last Thursday. And then, we're going to get into all the baseball stuff and have some laughs and everything else. This was no laughing matter. You are a Paramus guy. You have Paramus connections and roots. And Thursday we, did not do a show in deference to just a heartbreaking story out of Paramus.
Yeah, you can't without getting into the details because, to be quite honest with you, it's I just can't. I'm one of those people that just kind of shuts it out in terms of once you hear about it. But you had a lot of friends that I grew up with, a lot of relatives of friends that were affected by that. I just, on a positive note, the town of Paramus and the principal of Eastbrook Middle School, the feedback is positive. From the mayor all the way down, they're in getting people information on that day and doing the best that they can. All the feedback that I've heard has been nothing but positive. It was just a time where when you called, it just didn't feel right doing the show. Was kind of going back and forth with a bunch of people regarding the
tragedy,
the tragedy, the accident, the tragedy, the whatever it is, and it was definitely close to home. It hit home. You don't know, how as a parent you're able to put your empathetic hat on, your sympathetic hat on, but you can't imagine what those people are going through, both with the mental recovery that those kids are going to have and the loss that people suffered and the battles that still lie ahead for those families. It just it goes without saying. Our school district did offer, our superintendent did offer our counseling services over to their school, and you just hope for the best, and anything that you can do and that these people need. If anyone could ever lend a helping hand, we do it, and you move on. It's not just one community. We used it in addition to a life lesson. We used it as a life lesson with our team that day. We did address it. We did speak about it. It's just a tough time. So you pray for those people. Your thoughts go out to them, and any way that you can help, whether it's a GoFundMe page or anything, you just, in time of need, you help. So
yeah,
that's why tough to start the show like that, but I think people understand.
Yeah, and I also think that, like you said, it's not a one-town thing. The North Jersey sports community, I don't mean the website, I mean those involved in sports in this Bergen County, Hudson County, Passaic County area, they get it. I mean, and everybody felt it. I covered the Paramus softball game on Sunday in the Bergen County tournament, and they had the Paramus Strong banner that they put along the first base line. Brian Hay, the softball coach, was telling his girls, hey, 2 hours of focus here. Because, sports can have, listen, nothing's going to heal those wounds, but can have some type of healing effect where you get to think about something else for a couple of hours.
If for nothing else, it's it offers a diversion. It offers to get yourself off track of things like that, and just get your mind out there and enjoy yourselves. But it's tough, that you think about all the battles that are going to be fought now that aren't on the surface. That when you sit back and think of a situation like that, about what really lies ahead for families. Even for the kids that, were fortunate enough to come off that bus and a few bumps and bruises, and some that were not as injured, but the mental anguish, having kids that age, it's what do you do? Where do you start? There's no book for that. There's no instruction, and you don't know what lies ahead, and that could be a big fear too. You know what happened, but now you, as a parent and as a community, as a school, you worry about the unknown and trying to be proactive in addressing things. It's tough, definitely tough, but communities come together, and I'm sure that the road that lies ahead, people will pull together and help out.
Agreed, and that's why we will turn our attention to high school baseball in North Jersey, Joe, and as if the bad news didn't end there, the North 1 Group 1 state sectional playoffs happened. Is that a bad segue?
That was, honestly, you caught me off guard. You're a douche. That was, I wasn't expecting that to be the opening statement, or the opening segue, as you like to call it. Wow. Holy cow, you hit me out of left field with that, pal. Coming off a little bit of emotion there with Paramus, and then bam, you kicked me while I'm down, Cor. Kicked me while I'm down.
The number 1 seeded Woodridge Blue Devils go down at the hands of the fighting Saddlebrook Falcons. And listen, go ahead. You say what you're going to say, and then I'll expand on my point.
I'll tell you, I'm not trying to take the high road here, but I don't think that it's my place to talk about it too much. I know I do the show with you, and I'm an assistant coach there. I will comment on the fact that, Mike told the kids at the end of the game that it wasn't because of lack of effort. You try, and when it's a one-run game like that, you look back on it and you can break down 50 different ways that were things that could have went the other way or gone the other way. But here's the bottom line, and Mike said it about the 4th inning. We're leaving too many guys on base, and at that time we had a 6-2 lead, and they had this lefty, the 2 kids. I think the one kid's name was Marchesani or Marchetto. Marchetto, I'm not sure.
Wow, that's doing your homework on the scouting report, Joe. Well,
no, there was 2 of them. There were two kids that hurt us. The other one, I think his name was Babe Ruth. He was kid Hacker, his name was, and the kid was 4 for 4 with 6 RBI. I mean, came up in situations where, Corey, the game is what the game. We out hit them. We struck them out 11 times. We had 13 hits. But it's that old adage. It's not the amount of hits you get; it's when you get them. And with runners on first and second, we're up 6-2, 1 out. What are you going to do other than pitch to a kid in that situation? The kid hit the ball 700 feet.
Right, tippy cap.
And he did the same thing in the first inning. First inning, I think there were 2 outs, runner on second base. Same kid was up. We're not walking them. It's 0-0 with a runner on second in the first. Kid hit a 2-run homer. They went up 2-0. We go up 4-2, 6-2. All the credit to them. They hit. They played a good game, a solid game. They made plays late in the game when they had to. The center fielder made 2 catches that saved the game. We had a little life in the end there. We had the tying run on second base with 1 out and couldn't get the big hit to get it in, and they did. Congratulations to them. They did a good job.
Yeah. And my point about the state baseball playoffs, and listen, it doesn't take away from the great season you guys had. You won a league title, Made the Bergen County tournament.
No, we didn't win the league title this year.
Oh, so I'm trying to find a silver lining here.
Well, you can't lie about a silver lining. That's bullshit.
I'm just trying to look out for you, buddy. Okay, so you competed for a league title.
All right, you could say that. You could say that, but so did every other team in Bergen County.
You won a lot of games. You made the Bergen County tournament.
That's good. That's good.
And that's a wrap on Woodridge 2018.
And on that note,
yeah, let's move on. No, but my point about state playoff baseball is, to me, there's no such thing as an upset, especially in the first round, because not necessarily that it happened in your game, but there's a lot of teams. You look at a number 16 seed, they probably made the state tournament because they found enough wins when their ace was on the mound to make the state tournament. And then they don't play a meaningful game for 2 weeks. I'm not talking about Saddlebrook here. I'm talking about just high school baseball in general. And you can. It's like this Triple Crown horse racing that's going on now. Everybody tries for the Kentucky Derby, and then when you lose, you pull your guy out of the Preakness, and then you throw him back in there at the Belmont, as a gunner, and try to take down the overwhelming favorite. And that's what it breaks down to in baseball, where you can line your number one up, get him primed and ready to go into that first round, and then really nobody's safe, because if you made the state tournament, you probably have an ace, and with an ace on the mound, any team can beat any team. They're putting their best team on the field for that first round of the state tournament. So I've seen it happen a million times, and it can happen at any time to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it. I said it about our team specifically this year. When you're the number one seed, and when you have a program that, whether you're in the state playoffs, a county game, a regular season game, your certain programs, certain teams are going to raise their level. Now you add in what you just said, that it's a state game, and you're going to get the best. You're going to get the best of the best, and those. That's why you play the games. It's crazy to hear it from being part of a program that was just the number one seed getting knocked off by the 16. But that's the beauty of the game. That's the beauty of baseball. That sometimes those teams with the best record, more so than other sports, don't necessarily win. And again, you can't say enough about what Saddlebrook did. And there were some other upsets that occurred in the state brackets as well that we could talk about. But tough loss. But congratulations to all those tems that won, and they'll be moving on.
Yep.
But you know who I blame, though, Corey? You know who I blame?
Mike Carthage.
Nope.
Oh,
nope.
No.
I would never blame Mike.
All right. That was the obvious answer.
No, the obvious answer is the state of New Jersey.
Because?
Because I was in a meeting today, and I get back from my meeting, and what's on my desk, Cor? What do you think was sitting on my desk that I took a picture of and sent it to Mike Carthage and Mike Petroselli, our two coaches, and I said, "Are you expletive kidding me? Look what just showed up on my desk."
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
Now, the only thing I could say is that the only thing, I don't know, it could be anything, but the only thing that I can think of that it wouldn't be would be the North 1 Group 1 State Sectional Championship Trophy. I mean, anything else...
Wrong, Corey. Wrong, because that's exactly what it was. The North 1 Group 1. Now, shame on the state of New Jersey for sending that. Why? Because we're the 1 seed? So we get it? Can I send it to Saddlebrook now?
Yeah, you better.
Holy cow, thought it was a sick joke. I texted Carthage, and he literally said, "Find out who the delivery guy was." I said the secretary doesn't know. I got back, "That's BS. They have to sign in to get to the school. I want to know who sent the trophy."
That is a faux pas by the New Jersey State Interscholastic Athletic Association.
Do me a favor, guys.
Yeah.
Keep the trophies, and when you have a sectional championship game, have it delivered, a couple of days before, and one of those two teams will get it. Don't send it to the 1 seed. Lesson learned. Lesson learned.
And when you walked out of your office, was somebody waiting there to poke you in the eye as well? All right, a couple things. I want to just mention the county tournaments because they're the off-delayed. Now, Passaic County, congratulations to DePaul. DePaul won the Passaic County Championship earlier this week. They sweep softball and baseball in Passaic County, so good job by the Spartans. And this Bergen County tournament, I mean, it was the grand experiment this year where it was going to be one game per weekend from the round of 16 on, playing down to a one-game championship weekend rather than the Saturday-Sunday. Rain has just killed every bit of momentum and intrigue going into this, to the point now that it's forced. The semifinals still have not been played. They are scheduled for this Saturday at Northern Valley Demorest. It's Pascack Hills against St. Joseph Regional. It is Don Bosco Prep against Bergen Catholic. And then, weather permitting now, I'm looking at the little long-range forecast. Sunday doesn't look so great. Monday doesn't look so great. So, but the final is scheduled to be played back in the old format of Saturday, Sunday. So we won't get to see how this thing was supposed to have played out.
No, and it's, unfortunate, but what can you do?
What can you do, right? It's weather is weather.
You can't do anything. You got to make the call. I think the call was made early last week. I think it was made Friday, right? That they looked to push it, and you tried to do something. We're not going to get to see it play out, but again, I think it's a format that moving forward, it is what it is. You tried to stretch it out. It didn't work, and to no fault of anybody's but the weather. So, I mean, you move on, or maybe you look to consider I know that Demorest and is where it's always been, but they've moved other games to turf facilities to get it done and get them played when they were supposed to get played. So maybe you look into maybe moving into a turf facility, but it stinks. It's hard for those teams. You sit there, you're all worked up. Now you're practicing indoors. Some teams are playing league games that are just kind of left over. If you're still in the state tournament and the county tournament, it's one thing. And all these teams are obviously. So it's hard though. It's hard to get there, get to the day, practice, and then have to wait another week. But it's out of everybody's control. You can't worry about the weather.
No, and I just think I heard you angling to have the Bergen County 2019 Bergen County Championship game played on the home campus of the Fightin' Woodridge Blue Devils. Is that true?
No, it was not advocating there. I just said a turf facility. It could be anywhere. Could be Breslin. It could be Breslin Field, or no, that's all. Could be Lyndhurst. You could have it down at Lyndhurst. Just to get the games in. I wasn't advocating for Woodridge at all, actually, Corey.
Because that concession is big.
Right down by Woodridge?
Well, just the concession and stand in general. You can.
Oh, we do a great job there.
All right, so so that's going to happen, and now it's going to benefit the team with the deepest pitching staff. The age-old question for the past 20 years, at least since I've been covering the tournament, is do you throw your one on Saturday, two, you try to save something for the Sunday, and now it's going to be depth of pitching staff that is probably going to be the deciding factor, and maybe helps Pascack Hills a little bit because they have some depth in their pitching staff, although the big non-public powers do as well. So we will be on it, and we will see how it plays out. But I want to get back to the state tournament here. And last week, a lot of great feedback from having Ed Ahern, the umpire, on the show last week. A lot of people came up to me, said they enjoyed it. We got a lot of action on social media, everywhere else.
Do you know what he did? Do you know what Eddie Ahern did?
No.
He texted myself and Mike Karsich on a group chat and said that if we didn't meet him out for a beer, that we'll never get another call as long as he umpires in Bergen County baseball.
You got to weigh it, though. Have you ever gotten a call before?
But now we have to, I told Mike, now we have to put Eddie on the blacklist because we're not going to get calls anyway, so we might as well just blacklist him. But we did not do that, Eddie. We didn't do it, buddy.
Right. And we
go ahead.
We could have used you on the Saddlebrook game, Eddie. Where were you?
No, actually, let me say, two guys that did our game, umpires that did our game, excellent. They were good. They were pretty clean. They were pretty clean.
All right, let me tell you what happened in my game then.
Who'd you do?
I did Mawa, the number 3 seed in North 1 Group 2, against Ramsey, the number 14 seed.
Nope.
in North 1, Group 2. So, first inning, now, here's the crazy thing about the states, too, is you get umpires that you've never seen before because they get dispersed across the state, which
is absurd.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of weird because you would think that you would want guys that coaches are comfortable with, that know maybe even some of the pitchers have had them during the season, know what to expect. Instead of walking into a situation cold where you don't know anybody, you take that, you try to keep your head down, get on the field, and hope 7 innings passes without incident. Well, it didn't pass without incident yesterday in Mahwah. And
what happened?
So, again, I want to put in the disclaimer here that in my history of doing shows and writing stories on NorthJerseySports.com, I never have, nor will I ever, blame umpires for the outcome of any particular game. Bad calls, good calls, everything.
Just stop right there.
All right, Joe. Stop. All right, so you get all that. Anyway.
Listen to me. I get I'm blaming the umpire, but I'm not blaming the umpire. Blanket statement.
Correct. Here's what you're absolutely right. But here's what I don't want it to come off as taking away from Mahwah's victory, because they won the game fair and square. 6-4 victory. They're moving on to the quarterfinals in North 1 Group 2. But let me just set the situation.
All right. So how many runs scored on the umpire's mistake that if they didn't score, Ramsey would have won? Go.
3.
I already know where you're going with this. Go.
Okay. All right. So, bottom of the first inning here. Got the old notebook here. Keep copious notes at NorthJerseySports.com. The old school style.
Can I give you, can I give you my interpretation? As like, give me the scenario, and I'll give you my interpretation.
That's what I'm hoping for here.
All right.
So, first inning, bottom of the first inning. Okay.
Right.
Ramsey goes 1-2-3 in the first. Mahwah comes up in the bottom of the inning. First hitter strikes out. Second hitter walks. Third hitter is hit by a pitch. Fourth batter pops up to the catcher. Fifth batter walks. Bases loaded, 2 outs.
Right.
Okay? No runs have scored.
Okay.
Ground ball ticks off the pitcher's glove. And
ticks off the pitcher's glove, okay?
Correct. Right-handed pitcher Frank Doyle. Ball ticks off his glove, his left-handed glove side. Rolls out towards second base. He barely changed the direction of the ball, but did so a little bit out to the second baseman, where the second baseman goes to field the ball and is run into by the base runner crossing from first base to second base. Right?
Okay. Right.
Umpire's hand goes up. Play finishes. He makes the call. The runner is out.
That
Interference.
Is incorrect.
Hold on.
All right.
I'm going to give you your chance.
Okay.
Third out of the inning, no runs scored, teams come off the field.
Okay.
Continue. Go ahead.
Well,
so your thoughts.
I could be wrong. And the pitcher had an opportunity. The defense, if I understand correctly, the first fielder was the pitcher, had an opportunity to field the ball. He touched the ball. So as long as the fielder had an opportunity to field that ball, that can't be the call.
So, again, now I am not an umpire, and I was not privy to the inner conversations going on, so I don't know the exact thing. But what I do know is that the original call was out, inning over. 0 runs crossed the plate. Okay. Jeff Remo, as is his right, the head coach at Mahwah, goes out to discuss the second base umpire who made the call. He draws the home plate umpire into the conversation, trying to get him to make a call. So now the 2 umpires huddle for a lengthy period of time. And I don't know, again, I was too far away to hear exactly what they were talking about. And you know what? I mean, Ed Ahern, when you listen to this tomorrow, we're going to need some clarification, because I'm not saying that I know. What I do know is that the umpires should have known, but they didn't, because Bill Chesney, the Ramsey manager, then gets called into the conversation, and he brings his rule book with him. So obviously, the umpires are asking for, they take the rule book, they're looking at the situation, the play pertaining to a runner crossing second, I don't know. So As far as that, I spoke to Bill Chesney after the game, and he said that after that conversation ended, he was assured that that play was going to be upheld and would not be overturned. Then the conversation moved to the third base dugout where Mawa lived. Jeff Remo had his rule book out. After a lengthy conversation, it looks like the call is going to be overturned. And for final clarification, Joe, the home plate umpire pulled out his cell phone and called an umpiring coordinator who we both know, whose name I will not mention because why drag him into this? The headline of the story on NorthJerseySports.com today is, the umpires make a call to make a call.
Corey, no. Come on. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine it? Here I am, Corey. I'm in the third base box.
Right.
I'm in third base. I got a runner on first, okay?
Yeah.
I got some options. I could slash, I could bunt, I could hit and run. Time, Blue, can I get time? Let me get time.
Can I phone a friend?
Sure, Coach, what's up? Coach, what do you need? No, I got to make a call. What? Yeah, no, I got a buddy of mine. He doesn't have a game, but I'm going to give him a call and ask him what I should do in this situation. Come on.
No, right. Cell phone explains the situation. Seems like the guy on the other end of the phone had the pertinent information he was looking for. He calls him safe, sends the runners, reverses the call.
God. Did Chesney go through the dugout roof?
I give Bill Chesney as much credit. We got to make an award. The Bill Chesney Self-Restraint Award will be handed out from now.
It's 7 innings. You don't let that go. There's no way.
Bill Chesney.
Not only did 1, 2, and then a phone call that reverses it back to, oh my God.
So that makes it 1-0 Mawa. Bases still loaded, 2 outs. Next batter up, of course, smokes a double into the gap. 2 more runs. Mawa's up 3-0.
And what was the final score? What was the final score?
6-4, Mawa. So here's Joe. You've been through the classes. You've had it. You know some of this stuff. Now? Listen. Rules being aside, they might have gotten the call right. I'm not here protesting the fact that they make the wrong call. I don't know. Here's my point. 2 guys from out of the area show up to the game to work the game. Base umpire makes a call. Shouldn't the home plate umpire just say, you know what, that's his call, we're going to stick with it?
I would think, and especially in that situation, and again, part of the mechanic is, I wouldn't think that you're going to call the home plate guy in to discuss a call that was made. That's the field umpire's responsibility. From what but Corey, here's the other thing I'm not sure of, because the home plate guy has a play at the plate if they decide to come home, especially the fact that it was a comebacker.
Yep.
So now that guy, the home plate guy, is getting himself in position to make sure that he's got the catcher, the plate, the ball, the runner coming in. So if he's looking at the angle he should be at, how do you expect the home plate guy to be aware of what possibly could happen at the plate and then have any say whatsoever in a runner running into a second baseman?
And the other part
a collision at second base. So would the field guy do that? What was his responsibility there? Nothing? Just, hey, you got the plate and I need you to come in here because I didn't see that? You saw it.
Yeah.
He made the call. That to me, that's not a call that you reverse, and I'm not saying anything other than, hey, listen to me. You ever heard of the blue wall? That's us right now. We're the blue wall. You made the call. I don't care how many people go berserk, because you make it, you stick by it. If you find out later it's wrong, you deal with it later. You can't put either team, both teams, both coaches through that. And you know what, Corey? It's funny that we're talking about guys from out of town and guys getting shipped all over, because real quick, I've had 2 conversations with 2 different umpires this week about, I say, hey, what state game you have this week? We're not doing them. What do you mean you're not doing them? Well, what the hell am I going to go all the way down to Cranford for and walk into a hornet's nest with, I'm working with a guy I don't know. I got 2 coaches that don't know me. I'm driving 40 miles for $80 to get my you know what kicked in.
Gas is Gas is $3.09 a gallon.
Yeah, right. And now you put two Bergen County guys on the Marwa Ramsey game. Maybe that situation, not saying the call, there wouldn't be a controversial or tough call, but the personalities of the umpires are probably known by the coaches. The coaches are known by the umpires, and it goes back to what you said before, the familiarity with Bergen County baseball and local guys up here. Because that bothered me from when I was coaching, that we would go out there, and just because we didn't trust what we were going to get out in the West, not to say they're not good, but you got guys in the Colonial Conference. No, the Bergen County team's coming out there? No, I'm not comfortable with that. I'm bringing one of my guys.
Yep.
And we always had a Bergen County guy willing to go. Maybe you throw him a double check or something extra to go. But the umpires in that situation, don't care where they're from, are set up for failure. It's a tough situation to do, even though those two guys, whoever they were, completely botched that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and just to put a bow on it, it's not like the home plate umpire knew the rule off the back of his hand. He had to consult two different rule books, and then he returned the call.
A phone call, Corey.
And a phone call. Two rule books and a phone call later, and they're turning over a call. I mean, it just seems to me like...
Yeah, right. Hi, Blue. What's up? My assistant coach, my JV coach knows this kid a little better. Can I call him and ask him if he can hit 7 or 8? Come on. Right. Give me a break. A phone call. You know what I would do? Make the call, read the rule. Even if you got to go to the rule book, okay?
Yep.
Go to the rule book, make the call.
And
but,
have your
how
own,
would you like to be?
Have your own
rule book. The guy getting a phone call.
Well, that's the other thing too, Joe. I mean, he could say, you guys got to figure this out on the field. It's not I didn't see the play.
Because now, what happens if the guy on the other end of the phone,
it's not like he's hooked up to the home office in,
what's he in Seacrest?
Hackensack, yeah, right. The county seat.
Watching the review. All right, hold on, guys. This is what I got here. That's unfair to call the guy.
Agreed.
Because whoever it was is obviously, who knows if the guy said, all right, listen, you guys botched this bad. This is the situation. Yep. But you got to stick by the call you made, and then there you go. Hang up the phone. Call's made.
And don't ever call me again.
There's your lifeline, pal, for the rest of your life. Don't call me.
All right, let's move on here too. Let's just let's briefly run through a couple of these brackets here because it is interesting. In that North 1 Group 2 is a whole bunch of teams from the same league. In the Big North, I don't even know what the league is called, but you had Marwa and Ramsey played each other twice during the regular season. You had Riverdale, also a member of that league. They won 1-0 in the opening round, too. Brandon Flanagan's boys getting through a tough one against Hawthorne.
Yep. Hawthorne, yep. John Pissarro.
Yep. You also had Westwood. Westwood went down at the feet of Jefferson yesterday, but Westwood was also in that bracket. And then at the top of the bracket is number 1 seeded Pascack Hills with a 10-0 win over Mountain Lake. So you got 3 teams from the same league playing in the final 8 in North 1 Group 2. That right there is an indication of just how strong Bergen County baseball is.
Yeah, I mean, we know that, we put Bergen County baseball, I think, not to take anything away. Actually, to take anything away from everybody else.
Take a little bit away.
Let's take something away right now. Bergen County baseball, in the North, is day in and day out, I think, the best that there is up here. You can go west, you can go a little bit south. I mean, but once you get up here in this area, Bergen County baseball puts the best product on the field day in and day out. And
yep.
I think it shows in the amount of teams that advance. It's good to see Bergen County baseball teams advancing.
Yeah,
especially when you get knocked out.
Well, I was just going to mention North 1 Group 1, where 6 of the 8 teams left are from Bergen County, and one of them, Pompton Lakes, is a traditional small school power. I mean, they've been to 2 state finals that I've covered. They've won a Passaic County tournament. I believe it was last year, if I'm not.
Yeah.
So, they're going to get a home game in the quarterfinals. The other non-Bergen County team left is 14-seeded Butler. They pulled an upset, but that was against Wallkill Valley in the first round. So everybody else, Saddlebrook, Waldwick Park Ridge. And Park Ridge is a great story, too. I'll get to that in a second. You got Waldwick Park Ridge in the quarterfinals. That's a game, a rematch of a game I saw about 2 weeks ago. Great game played at Park Ridge. I expect that one to be fun, too. And then you got Emerson and Hasbrook Heights at the bottom of the bracket, and New Milford will play Butler. But, Park Ridge, when I covered them against Waldwick, still had, I believe it was, 9 games to play in an 11-day stretch. Now, they were helped out a little bit by the weather, that they didn't have to play all those games. But Pete Crandall's boys, I don't know if they've played the game against Midland Park yet to determine the league championship. I think that one still hanging in the balance. But Park Ridge, one of 8 left standing in North 1 Group 1, and it says a lot about that side of the NJIC, Joe, where you had Park Ridge, Waldwick, Emerson, and who's the one I'm missing? Midland Park, all fighting for a league title there. And 3 of those teams left in the state, 4 of those teams left in the state sectional quarterfinals.
And we said it early. You alluded to those teams in that league, and how the parity in that league. There was a 4-way tie for first at one point.
Yep.
Again, good teams, year in and year out, competitive. They do a good job. It's and it's tough too, because we were talking about that, Sitch and I, and what makes it sting even more, and anybody that says anything different, if you're a competitor, is lying, is that when you look at the regular season, we competed against Park Ridge, we competed against Emerson, we competed against Midland Park, we competed against New Milford, and a hard message to learn is you got to be playing your best baseball at this time of year. And it's great to accumulate the wins and do the things that you want to do and that you strive to do as a team. But all of those teams are gaining momentum, and they're going to, all of them are going to be tough to knock off, regardless of who they're playing when.
Yeah, and baseball's so finicky too. One bad bounce, one sprained ankle, there's so many variables that go into winning a baseball game. Where football, 9 out of 10 times you got the bigger kids and the faster kids, you're going to win. Basketball, same thing. Baseball,
absolutely.
The margin of error between the great teams and the even mediocre teams is less than it is in any other sport, especially when, as I said earlier, you can get your number 1 out there and try to even the playing surface, at least for 7 innings out of the however many 100 you play during the course of a season. But North 1 Group 3 is interesting because it's all in-area teams against out-of-area teams in the quarterfinal round. West Essex, the 1 against Wayne Hills in the quarterfinals. Number 5, Pascack Valley gets a home game because Sparta beat Paramus, the number 4 seed. You got Roxbury, which ended Old DePan's season, and then Ramapo, the number 6 seed, will travel to Roxbury in the quarterfinals. And Demarest, the number 7, a 3-1 victory over Morris Hills. That sends them on the road to play at number 2 Montville on Thursday. The one thing that stands out to me there, and it was similar to the Mawa/Ramsey situation that I covered yesterday, is Ramapo and Indian Hills fight all year to make, state tournament. And next thing they know, they're sister schools. They share the Wyckoff, Franklin Lakes, Oakland kids from those 3 towns can go to either of the 2 schools, and then as a gift from the NJSIA, they get to play each other in the first round of the state tournament, and you don't want that. I mean, let it play out. I understand PowerPoints and all that other stuff, but separate them, Joe, in the first round. You can do it. You can make a 6-7 or an 11-12.
How could you though? If it's done in that way, if it's done in that method, and you're using PowerPoints, it's not left to somebody's judgment. This are the numbers. These are where the seeds fall.
Yeah, no, I know. But
I'm just hard, saying. And it stinks. I'll be honest with you, it does. It's just. I think there's 2 sides to it. You're playing somebody that you're comfortable with, or that not comfortable with, but that
it's my thing is it's not the state tournament experience. You know what I mean? Ramapo, Indian Hills can scrimmage each other any Tuesday they want, and maybe they should put a stipulation in where teams that play each other twice during the regular season, every effort will be made to have them avoid each other in the first round. That's all.
No, that would be work, and that the state's not doing that. That would be work. That would be extra, and that's not happening.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, you get that old story. It's tough to beat a team 3 times. It's all They know us. Well, you know what? I agree with you. I agree. It is difficult to beat a team 3 times when you're evenly matched, and you don't need any extra to want to beat the team on the other side. But at the same time, go out and play.
Yes, go out and play. That's true. And Ramapo 1, they will be moving on in North 1 Group 3. Quickly want to mention North 1 Group 4 because we got we got a bunch of North Jersey teams here, but 2 teams that I really like still left, including number 2 Ridgewood, which put up 14 runs in the first round win over Bloomfield.
You love Ridgewood.
I do love Ridgewood. Well, listen, Kurt Holman, we both love Kurt Holman. 500 victory earlier this season, a guest on Talkin Baseball in years past. I mean, he's such a good guy that he hates us. He hates talking to us, and yet he still comes on. So I root for that guy.
Yeah, he does, and it's a different tone when Kurt's on. You notice, like, he's just like such a...
I wear a tie when he comes on.
Mild-mannered guy, like, relaxed. There's no cursing. There's no making fun of people. It's kind of just like, all right, Kurt, thank you for watching this episode of Doviak's Christian Hour, and we are going to be very well behaved, and because the guy's just such a nice guy. Like,
he is.
Not that anybody else isn't, but it's just I'm almost like,
Yep.
like, can I say that? Can I say that in front of him?
right. He's good a class act. You want to be on your best behavior around Kurt Holman. I agree.
Always. The next time he's on the show, he's going to be like, "Hey, Sutera, you're the biggest."
Hold on, I got to write down that so I can add the beat. Oh, that's great. So they're still, they're the number 2 seed, and for my money, they are the favorite in the bracket because Livingston's the number 1. I don't even know where Livingston is. So Ridgewood is the favorite, but they are going to play a plucky Bergen Tech team in the quarterfinals, and let's give a little shout out to Bergen Tech. They were the 10 seed.
We did. Remember?
Yes.
We did.
Yes.
When they were playing. They played Ramapo and they had him. Remember, it was 2-2. We talked about that. We talked about how they are really kind of relatively, they're in Bergen County, but they're unknown. They've been getting better and better and better and putting an improved product on the field year after year.
Yep.
I have a little bit of a connection there because there are some kids from Woodridge. I believe there's 3 or 4 of them that are playing over there. And to be honest with you, that's what we try to avoid here in Woodridge. But,
right. Joey Administrator.
Joey Administrator. Right. Stay in Woodridge, students. Yeah. Stay in Woodridge, please. So that's what, Bergen Tech, go ahead, Corey, go. With Bergen Tech.
Yeah, so it's Bergen Tech Ridgewood in the quarterfinals. And you got North Bergen Passaic Tech in the other quarterfinal. You have Livingston Randolph on top of the bracket in the I don't care who wins that game matchup of the quarterfinals.
Wait, what game was that?
Number 1 Livingston against number 9 Randolph. Aren't those the 2 guys from
Wait a second.
Trading Places? No, that was Randolph and Mortimer.
Oh.
The other game is number 5 Fairlawn going on the road to Morristown. Now, I wanted to bring up Fairlawn because I saw them in the quarterfinals against Pascack Hills in the Bergen County tournament down at Breslin Field last Monday night, and
What was that? 5-1, 4-1?
That was
the score there.
That was 1-0.
Really?
Yeah, it was Ryan Ramsey, who we've talked over and over about this year on Talkin Baseball, the hard-throwing lefty from Pascack Hills, almost being matched by Ryan Rue, the senior left-hander from Fairlawn. You know him well. He was the one who got the Devils in the first round, I believe. But
you don't have to remind me.
Was going pitch for pitch with Ramsey.
I'm sorry I came on this show. I'm sorry I did this show today.
But, again, Fairlawn is a team that when you got that number 1 on the mound and you got that lefty who throws from, different speeds, he changes up off his off-speed stuff, and it's not like he doesn't throw hard. I mean, he's not going to blow every hitter away, but he can sneak a fastball by you. And Fairlawn, to me, is a live dog in North 1 Group 4 here as the number 5 seed moving on to the quarterfinals.
Yes, I think I said enough about Fairlawn. And no, I don't mean it that way. I mean it like, when they beat us, then they went on and beat Paramus. I told you I was as impressed with their offense when they played us as I was, not to take anything away from Ryan Rue, but he gets a lot of the publicity, and rightfully so. But I think he's going to Hofstra.
He is going to Hofstra, yep.
their offense was as impressive, and that kid, you want to stay away from them, it's good to see them moving on, because right now it's all about Bergen County teams since we're out of it.
Okay, yeah. You're absolutely right, Joe. It is Bergen County, North Jersey centric here. Bergen County, Hudson County, and Passaic County. With when people ask what we cover, I say those three counties with a decided bent towards
With an asterisk.
A decided bent towards Bergen County. The last section I want to mention, because it was fun to cover last year for a reason, after just having this conversation, for a reason that you might think is odd, because last year, North 2, Group 2. I think we had 5 Bergen County teams playing in sectional finals last year. Rutherford was one of them in North 2, Group 2. Right. They were playing Whippany Park, which had come out of nowhere to make the final. So I'm looking at the options. I want to cover a winning story. So I picked Rutherford, Whippany Park. Whippany Park wins. The only Bergen County team to lose in a section final last year was Rutherford. Right? So I get burned on that one. But on the other hand, I introduced myself to the Whippany Park people, and we got to be friendly with each other because they went on to the next round, and I'm looking at the group semifinals, and where am I going to see a win here? I'm going to drive down to Belleville for the Group 2 state semifinals. I'm going to watch my friend Kevin Kirkby and the Pascack Hills Cowboys, who I am a member of the bandwagon. Drive down to Belleville, and Whippany Park beats Pascack Hills down there and moves on to the state finals. So now, fast forward 1 year later, Rutherford is the number 2 seed in the quarterfinals. They beat Fort Lee in the opening round. And here comes Whippany Park, coming off a 1-0 win over Caldwell in the opening round in North 2 Group 2. Joe, you think Carmine Spina is going to have to give any type of pump-up speech to his boys, most of them who were on the field last year when their season ended, at Memorial Field, no less, on the banks of the mighty Passaic River, against Whippany Park?
I'd like to be there and listen to Spina. Because you know what he does? You know what Spina does to me?
Well, you got nothing else to do.
To this day, he still tells coaches that I was trying to steal his signs from his catcher when we played them at a neutral site in Emerson. Corey, you remember, I walked down the line, and then I would walk back. And what coach really stands in the box?
Not many.
So he to this day, he's still telling the coaches, Sutera steals signs. He's a sign stealer. Tell a sign stealer I said hello. Tell a sign stealer I said hello. So you know what? Spina, you got my number. Call me, pal. Call me. We'll talk about stealing signs.
Joe Sutera, Whippany Park fan.
No. Come on, man. My first coaching gig was actually it was Paramus, but Rutherford.
Yes, on that great 2000.
We want Rutherford. We want Carmine and Rutherford to get that W.
Yep, and elsewhere in that bracket, obviously we got number 14 Dover against number 11 Newark Tech. Who cares? We have number 8 Madison against number 8 Hanover Park. Who cares? Then the other quarterfinal matchup, Joe. Number 5 Lyndhurst, a perennial powerhouse from Southern Bergen County, and in the Group 1 or the North 2 Group 1, or in this case, North 2 Group 2 bracket. Great program, led by Butch Servideo for many years. Always, and then the changeover in coaches, but Butch certainly laid the foundation for that. Lyndhurst wins every year. And who is their quarterfinal opponent, Joe? The little team that could. The Maroon and Silver, the Fightin' Lions for Leonia, who had their first home state playoff game in over a decade and won their first state tournament game in 8 years. They're the 4th seed, a 12-2 victory over Harrison in the opening round, and they will host Lyndhurst this Thursday in the North 2 Group 2 state sectional quarterfinals. We should definitely make mention of the Fightin' Lions. How about that?
That's good. That's impressive, but it's not as impressive as your first league title in 55 years.
That's Dwight Morrow. Correct?
Yes. Who you said you were going to reach out to. Have you reached out to them yet?
Let me just look at my list of things to do. That was number 47. I only got up to number 46. And number 46 was to call the state and ask them why they sent you the state tournament trophy. So I got to make a call.
Before we go,
okay.
before we go, I'd like to start something new. I hope people are still listening. But I don't know how many more shows we're going to do this year. Maybe 1 or 2, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think we should put a survey out, the NorthJerseySports.com survey. And I have 2 questions. One is not baseball related. The other is baseball related. And it's just something for the people. Something for our listeners.
You're always thinking about the people.
Corey, without the people, I wouldn't be on the phone with you. They like it. Oh my God! You know what I didn't tell you?
No, hit me.
Holy cow! Don't let you forget about the survey. But listen to this. So I'm in Walgreens, and there's how could I almost forget this? There's a certain individual that in Bergen County.
Joe, you're very close to getting this cut out of the show.
All right. Let me just say it this way. I saw someone that you know.
Yeah.
Walgreens.
Did you confront him?
And no. You know what I did?
What?
I went, holy there's so-and-so. And I ducked behind the aisle. And the first thing I did was take my phone out to call you. And then I looked up, and I just started laughing because it said, aisle 6, protective underwear. And I was ducking behind like a box of Depends. I was like, where is he? Where is he? I watched him skate out the door. That's when I called you. Remember when I sent you that text?
Yes.
You'll never guess.
I had a similar incident that I also... Same guy had to... All right, Joe, get back to the survey. The survey
is...
See you next week, Joe, on Talkin Baseball.
Follow the leader.